come to join us for the program Evidence this day. There have been a lot of controversy about the holding of the Anglophone General Conference initiated by Christian Cardinal Tumi for Anglophones to meet in the historic town of Boy and they discuss the Anglophone crisis and possibly draw solutions or resolutions that will be forwarded to the President of the Republic. We shall be talking about that in the course of this program, Evidence. We shall equally talk about the trial of Ayuk Tabe-Jilos and the 9 others, in which the lawyers are asking the military tribunal in Yaoundé to send the case back to a civil court in Nigeria for them to determine the nationality of those that were taken from Abuja, Nigeria to Cameroon. That was last year, 2018. I am Dominic Mewenwa Kimo. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. We are receiving Abdul KARIM. He is a Muslim scholar of the Bible based in the northwest region of the country, specifically in Bamenda. Thank you for coming, sir.
Thanks for having me, Mr. Dominic.
It's a great pleasure to receive you on the program Evidence this day for the very first time. You have not been our guest here. You're welcome from Bamenda. What is the situation in Bamenda today as far as this crisis is concerned?
All right, I'd like to begin by praising our Creator and Fashioner, and I ask him to send his blessings upon his prophets and his righteous people, and to you, myself, the technicians of Canal 2 English, and the viewers of Canal 2 English and this program Evidence. Well, I'm sure it's like repeating the word good morning 10 times in between 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. to the same person, talking about what we're going through in the South of Cameroon. It's gone to that level where even our children, when they hear gunshots, they're able to tell you that that bullet is coming from the Restoration Forces, the other one is coming from La Republique military. It's getting that bad. There's a lot of looting on the part of the military, rape on the part of the military. I'm sure you saw what happened in Kumbu, razing of houses and so on, killing of innocent lives, extortion, very, very big extortion. The build-up control posts, especially on ghost days, and even usual days, they simply don't even ask for your ID card, they ask for money, 1,000 francs and on. So it is really, we are in a war situation. Nobody should even undermine that. We are in a full-blown war. Nobody knows what can happen to them or to their neighbors any minute.
You are talking about a full-blown war in the northwest region of the country, a few months after the creation of the Disarmament, Demobilization and the Reintegration Committee. Any effort by this particular committee as far as the crisis is concerned in the Northwest?
No, the creation of such a committee is, by the way, a farce. It is but logical that a third party should call for disarmament, or both parties should agree to disarm, but after they have negotiated upon certain things. You can't be fighting an enemy and ask them to lay their arms and assign a few people by way of degree to go disarm. Who are you going to disarm? So it's nonsense. They are not doing anything and they will not do anything. They rather provoke people. You realize that since the pronunciation of such a committee, violence have increased, attacks have increased, many people are still dying. We have many more than 289 that were released, arrested again. People are missing. So I don't understand what any disarmament would do. What you should do is you should be just, go back to the root causes of the problems of this country pertaining to the Southern Cameroon. Talk to the people you call terrorists, which to me are freedom fighters, and then you can have a solution. All the rest are just playing for time, and the time is getting to the end of the road itself.
Yeah, just talking about the crisis, and one of the reasons of, the measure people are taking to resolve the crisis is the putting in place of the Anglophone General Conference. The conveners, Christian Cardinal Tumi and the other religious leaders have been moving in the northwest and the southwest. They are equally planning to go abroad and sensitize people on the necessity of holding this particular conference as a step towards resolving this crisis. What's your take on that?
Well, the AGC. And I've been asking the question. You know, I spoke for the imams when the first communique for this conference came up. I spoke on their behalf on various platforms that they cannot hear a call for peace and refuse it. I've spoken even with the cardinal. I've spoken with main key players with this AGC thing. The question I ask is, how does anyone propose a conference by Southern Cameroonians, or what you call Anglophones, how do you propose that to solve the Southern Cameroon problem? Because we've had AAC1, AAC2. The resolution of AAC2, as read then by Dr. Munzo Simon, was that, and I quote, that we are giving a period of time to the government of La République to think about taking back the country into the federal system of 1961. Failure to do so, there shall be no AAC3, and they will invoke the constitution of the council that organized AAC3, to restore the independence and sovereignty of Southern Cameroon.
But the period given there was not specific.
Yes, so this, and it's a long period of time, about 23 years. So now the question is, how do you propose that holding a meeting amongst yourself will solve the problem? We don't have a problem amongst ourselves. Well, so the meeting proposes that we are not speaking with one voice, we want to come out with one voice. But the big question is, the billion francs question is, has the adversary, the oppressor, expressed any desire to talk with you? No. He arrests you, he kills you, he gives orders. Even in the midst of it, he takes away the GC he bought. He promised neutralization of you people. And then, I don't know, he's not expressed the desire. Because if you and I have a problem with a third party, and you and I are brothers, but we don't agree on certain things, by the time we're sitting to talk, it's because the other person is ready to talk with us. So it begs the question, does the agency planners know something that we don't know regarding the government? Maybe the government has told them we want to talk, but we don't know who to talk with, and we don't know how to talk with you, so they are doing this. They should come out clear. Having a meeting, even without a problem, for me, 2-3 people to sit together and discuss about anything is very important. But we need to look at the context. What is the context? Who are the game players in these Southern Cameroon problems now?
ABDUL, do you really think perhaps the main conveners of the AGC3, the Anglophone General Conference, are not credible enough to call such a meeting?
Oh no, I told Kadina Toumi that with his age, to me, he's one of the elders of Southern Cameroonians. He's worked hard to secure his moral grounds. And the imams, of course, as a Muslim, I don't question the decision of my imam. And of course, I respect the other clerics. But I told Kadina Toumi, and these are my words, he's alive, you can go and ask him. I said, if you want to call a meeting for your children, make sure you do the right call. All of them should be able to participate. And there is no government, even that of La République, that will stop us from coming to attend your call. But if you do the wrong call, it's not going to play in well.
But do you think it's, making a wrong call? Because they have been calling on all Anglophones to participate in the conference.
No, the call is right, but the procedures are wrong. Because when you look at the initial communique that came out for this conference, it was very nice. He gave some pre-suggestions to the government that release everyone that are in your keep, those that have not been, I don't know, not everyone, but he gave some condition. Well, some of them, you should release them, and then create an enabling condition for everyone in the bushes to come back, and also those in the diaspora to come in. I was simply surprised that the government ignored even a response to that, and yet he went on to fix a date, which means you want to have a meeting with key players out. What are the key players? Those people who are clamoring for the restoration of the independence of the Southern Cameroons. You want to have such a meeting without them? This was my question. You fix a date knowing that the leadership is in prison, the interim leadership is abroad, millions away as a result of exile in the diaspora, thousands, hundreds of thousands in the refugee camp. You still want to have this meeting. Therefore, I say, okay.
But thank God the meeting was cancelled. The meeting did not hold. Now they are still waiting on government to give authorization for the meeting to hold. Why do you think the government is reluctant to grant an authorization for AGC3 to hold?
I don't know. I don't know, but I can suggest two things. I don't think the government is really refusing. The government is a very careful government. This government, they are careful, though very stupid. They are watching. They knew that the interim government refused it, and they don't want to be on a standstill. So I don't think they really refused. They want to see how good the mobilization would seem, and then they would give a granting. And by the way, Mr. Meme, I don't understand. AAC1 did not have any La République governor as observer. Why do Southern Cameroons, want to have a meeting and cannot have it independently? Why do we need La République observers? Why do we need it? These are questions that have to be answered. For what? And then
have to be answered by the conveners of the conference?
Yeah, I hope someone can ask them, why do we need these guys? We cannot independently have one. Why do we need security for our family meeting? If we do it all honestly and all inclusively, we don't need security to secure us because we want to have our meeting. The reason is because we know we are excluding the main players. And the main players are the ones whose opinion matter on that table. Because who are the main players in this game, in Southern Cameroon's business today? They are purportedly three. I see one by way of 22nd of September and 1st of October. And what I've been seeing and what I'm hearing, despite the difficulties, I see one.
Which one are you seeing?
I see those who are clamoring for the restoration of the independent of Southern Cameroon. I've read today is my 10th book on revolutions in the world, successful revolutions. I'm on the 10th book. There is none that had millions of people walking throughout their streets on the same day, crying the same thing like we had on 22nd of September 2017. There is none. I'm saying none. In 23 different counties in a territory, there is none in the history of man. There is none. This is the first. That speaks already a very loud volume. Of course, there are those who are clamoring for a federation, and others are clamoring for what they call unionists. That's the most
decentralization.
It's a minuscule minority. So the two main players are the restorationists and the federalists. But I don't see the restorationist division in opinion. They can have division in methodology as to prosecute their revolution per se. In other words, all they speak is Boya. They want Boya. But maybe how to get to Boya is where they differ.
Now,
with the Federalists, let me finish this. With the Federalists, I'm sure this meeting is appropriately for me a Federalist meeting. They are the ones who don't know exactly what kind of federation they want, whether it's 10 state or 2 state or 4 state. They are the ones with that confusion. So maybe that is a proper meeting.
But the main convener, Christian Kardinal Toumé, has not mentioned anything about, keeping the preconditions to get there. There's no resolution that have been taken before the the meeting. So how do you say they are federalists?
No, you didn't get me. I'm not saying that Christian Kardinal Toumé is a federalist, but we know his political opinion. Yeah, it is to keep Cameroon together, and by way of federation. And again, where I
but
see,
he's not calling the meeting to impose his idea.
Yeah.
What is think about the country is calling for
this is my point.
Anglophones to discuss what they think can be done in order to solve the crisis.
No, this is fallacious. Southern Cameroonians have stated what can be done to solve it. Millions of people have said it, including the international community. Release all you have in your keeping, unconditionally call for negotiations with the Southern Cameroonians. These are the things to be done. It is not us. We were pushed to the wall to resist. Resistance became a duty because injustice was appropriately law.
Perhaps the cardinal wants a formal way to present
which way can be formal? Agbobala went out. Agbobala with as head of consortium were called upon by this government to discuss. They discussed for 2 days. The third day they were disbanded and arrested. Mimi has been released. She was locked up because she's a journalist reporting it. How do you want a people to act? Did they just start fighting? Have lawyers not been sending memos upon memos to the presidency, to the Ministry of Justice before they went on the street? So what do you mean? And again, it's fallacious to say that we want to go and discuss to know what our problem is. We don't know what our problem is. No. No. Even a child knows what the Southern Cameroon problem is. It's a problem, as we have put it, of a stolen state. A state has been taken away from the people. And you say that's what we want to go and discuss to know. It was well articulated by Dr. Munzo himself in 1993. In AAC2, he had a speech code name, They Brought In Nothing, referring to the French government, to La République. They brought in nothing, but they took away everything. That is the code name of the speech. So we don't know? Oh yeah, we know. But the problem is, what I'm saying is, by purporting, as they did before, to have that meeting without the representation of the restorationists, that's why I said, okay, it was probably a federalist meeting. I have to make myself very clear. By purporting to have the leadership in jail, the other leadership in America, and all the other key players, and millions in bushes and so on, and wanting to have that meeting, who did you want to have in that room? That is my thing. Mr. Meme, see, I cannot be in a Southern Cameroon meeting today with Southern Cameroonians without the likes of Professor Anyangwe. or Dr. Munzu.
What is the reason?
Because these are people who have studied the history of Southern Cameroon very well. They are teachers of law. They have walked through this problem, through this crisis for a long period of time. They have interacted with some of our forefathers. They are the best arguments we can produce for restoration as well as federalism. I would like to have, for example, Munzo and Professor Anyangwe discuss on this matter. Having a meeting without them and saying that you want to come and discuss to understand where we are going with the problem, I say is simply fallacious. That is my argument. You want to get the best of the people that are available. But Professor Anyangwe, as you and I know, cannot come to this country. And you want to have that meeting without him? No.
Now, the war has been going on for close to 3 years today, started since 2016. There's no way government is, many people think government is not making any effort to resolve the crisis. The people they have been releasing is insignificant as compared to those they have arrested in the course of the crisis. To you, what is the way out now?
The way out is again very simple. Mr. Memesi, if you and I are neighbors and we have a problem on a piece of land, we argue, we go to court, we even insult ourselves, we even fight sometimes physically. Okay, we can still dialogue about that problem. You and I can dialogue about that problem. No matter what, we can go and dialogue and resolve that problem. But if I came to your house one morning in quest for that piece of land, and your child steps in, maybe to say, Daddy, please, don't fight the neighbor. Neighbor, don't fight my daddy. And by chance, I hit that child and he falls and dies. You and I cannot dialogue anymore. We will not even talk about that land so much. We are going to negotiate. It's going to be about that dead boy. There's going to be reparation. Look, thousands of Southern Cameroonians are dead from 2016, 8th of December. I don't want to recall Southern Cameroonians that have been dying since from 1959 because of this issue. Let's go back just to December 2016 from Akumjilos, 8th of December. Thousands are dying, thousands are missing, thousands are in the bushes. This is not an easy game anymore. It has to go via negotiations. There must be reparations. And the way out, again, you asked, the government, has to release everyone in connection with this thing. I mean everyone. Demilitarize the zone. Take out all your military from that zone. Let the people breathe their fresh air. Okay? And then sit on a table.
You just talk about removing all the military in the northwest and the southwest as a process towards peace. Recently, the Management Party made a call saying that, or has launched a petition for people to sign for restoration forces to lay their arms, insisting that the military cannot do that because the military is there to protect the integrity of the state.
The military is there to protect the national integrity of the state, not to fight civilians. This, I don't know where Cameroon picks up loss. The military is there to fight against external. So they are simply telling Southern Cameroonians that we are an external country. A military does not fight within its territory. They fight at their borders. With all the gendarmes you have, with all the BIR you have, with all the police that you have, you bring in military with even chemical weapons like we saw in Bali to deal with a people you call are yours? No. Come on, it's unheard of. But again, you cannot be fighting a war. The war was declared, pretty clear, November 2018. Well declared war. Is it 2017? Yeah. For 1 year it went on and then it was re-established again during his speech, saying that he was going to neutralize warmongers. You call someone defending himself a warmonger? No. Look at history. Look at what is going on. Look at who took up arms first and started killing people. Then you know who the warmonger is. Sisiko Ayut Tabe, the leader of this revolution, kept saying it's a non-violent revolution. He kept singing it. He wrote documents. He begged. He said, let's sit and dialogue. And today you call his people who are defending themselves warmongers?
We talk about that. If you are just joining us, this is Evidence on Kanato English. We are discussing issues concerning the Anglophone General Conference, and we will equally talk about the trial of Ayuk Tabe Julius Sisiku. Let's talk about that right now. Lawyers defending, the lead lawyer, Barrister Fru Johnson, told us recently that they are asking the military tribunal in Yaoundé to take the case to send back those that were taken from Nigeria to Cameroon, back to Nigeria, where a civil court can determine their nationality. How do you envisage the trial? How do you see the trial of Ayuk Tabe Julius and others at the military court in Yaoundé? What might possibly come out from there?
Well, I must say, to begin with, it's with a heavy heart that I even look at the pictures I saw on social media of Sissoko Ayuk Tabe. He was not looking very healthy. With La République du Cameroon, you cannot say this is the outcome because it's a system full of injustice. The injustice in this country is just alarming. And now what the lead barrister, John Frusso, what he said is simply basic national and international law. When you take a person to court, the first thing they do, they want to ID the person. They want to identify the person, both the claimant, and both the plaintiff and the accused. They want to identify you. Once there is a question of identification, the case cannot proceed until an ID is established. In this case, from my understanding, the military court doesn't have the competence to establish such
the nationality of those detained.
So it has to occur in this case. The people are saying that they are not Cameroonians. They are not from La République du Cameroon. So where did you pick them up? From Nigeria. So a civil call in the place of arrest or abduction.
Residence
is now supposed to say, okay, look, bring them to us. Let's establish the identification before anything can proceed. This is simply logical. You know, the habeas corpus that was denied is the first thing that was supposed to have been invoked in the first place. When you violate a law and arrest somebody, especially in the case of extradition, by law, you're supposed to, first of all, release the person immediately and send him back to where you picked him up. If there's a case against that person, even if there's an extradition policy, let's strike this a bit. Even if there exists an extradition policy between two countries, and so one is found guilty for something, the court in that country, for example, Abuja, was supposed to try them and find them guilty of what you're accusing them before bringing them, extraditing them back to the country.
We are running out of time, but let's take this last question. Recently, Honorable Wiba Joseph mentioned that one Anglophone in the diaspora to be united, else they are going to face the consequences. What do you read of that? Yeah.
Honorable Wiba is someone to be taken seriously. He went to La République Parliament on the 2nd of December 2016, warned them that if they don't trash out the problem of West Cameroon, as he called it then, now he's calling it Southern Cameroon, the problems are those that are going to drag the country into the abyss. Now, the diaspora has to be careful. He is telling them that they should wait for the consequences, but not regarding the revolution, because I'm sure he wants them to be very collaborative. He wants them to unite in purpose more. I think they are united in purpose, but they don't collaborate. He wants them to collaborate more, because if you cannot say they are divided. That is off the subject. A divided people cannot hold this government like this for 3 years, goes down for 3 years, locked down in October, and so on. A divided people cannot achieve that. So they are united, but they are not collaborative. There's a lot of division in opinion. And don't forget, we have a lot of bad seeds that have been planted by the adversary to cause confusion. So
do you think the bad seeds are succeeding?
No, they cannot succeed. They cannot succeed. They can temporarily make some achievements in terms of knocking a few heads. But I think Southern Cameroonians are bigger than that. And I think with the likes of Wiba, people are going to take his heed to his advice, and I think collaboration will proceed, because that is his warning, and I think people should take it seriously.
Thank you very much, ABDUL KARIM, for accepting our invitation to attend the program Evidence today.
It's my pleasure always coming before you.
Thank you so much, televiewers, for being there with us, in which you watch the program Evidence. We receive ABDUL KARIM. He is a Muslim scholar of the Bible based in Bamenda in the northwest region of the country. I am Dominic Memenwa Kimo. Thank you for watching.